What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your man Chaz Ellis once again answering the questions that you ask me. Make sure you go to the askchazzellisproject.com, get a consultation, a quick question, and make sure you check out the profile reviews that I'm also doing on there. Also go to Ask Chaz Ellis on Facebook and like that page. Anyway, the question that I got was from a lot of ladies who were responding to a video I did about the 5 women you should never date. They basically asked me, yo, when y'all gonna do a video about the men you should never date? I want to see 5 men you should never date. People ask me that, of course. So they wanted me to do that video, and I decided not to do it. I'm not doing a 5 men that you should never date video. But I will do a 6 men you should never date video, and that's this right here. Now, disclosure, yes, there are going to be some guys that are going to get offended by this video. They're going to thumbs down. They're going to put some stuff in the comment box. I'm cool with that. I know y'all going to inbox your boy. It's okay. So just check out the video, and I'm going to go into number 1 right now. The first guy that you should never date is the irresponsible type. I don't just mean irresponsible in terms of the fact that, you know, some of the stuff that people say, like you might have some kids or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about people who don't have their life in order and people who don't handle their life affairs properly, okay? These people could be any type. They could be people who are just getting out of college. They could be people who are, working every day. People whose bills are all messed up. People whose finances are all messed up. People whose personal relationships are all messed up. People who are just not responsible, don't keep their word, don't do the things that they're supposed to do. Don't set up an environment for you to be able to be a part of. People who don't really have a life plan. People who are not following whatever life plan that they're supposed to have. These are the kind of people that you don't want to find yourself in a relationship with because you're never going to be able to respect them and you're never going to be able to trust them. And since you can't respect or trust them, you're going to be in a situation where you're not going to be able to give them your best, so they're not going to want to give you their best, and they're not going to want to stay in the relationship. Or you're going to lose all respect and break up. So it's kind of a waste of your doggone time. So stay away from that type of person. The irresponsible type of guy is just no good for you, even though he may be well-intentioned. Now, this person may grow up to be whatever kind of person he becomes, but right now, if you're getting with the irresponsible type, you're probably not going to be the one that's with him whenever those changes happen. Just being real. Number 2 type of guy never to date is the bitter type. Now, some guys are going to get offended by this, and they're going to be the most adamant and the most angry because they're bitter. The bitter type is really very difficult to deal with because no matter what you do, they're never going to see it as being anything major. They're never going to respect what you're doing, and they're always going to feel like they're getting second best or they're getting what was left over from all of the guys you really wanted to date. The bitter type feels like he's been slighted by women his entire life. He feels like he's been disrespected. He feels like other guys have gotten all the girls and he hasn't. So any girl he gets with, as soon as she starts telling him about her past, oh, I dated this person. Oh, well, yeah, I've had a few boyfriends. It doesn't matter what you tell the person. You could just say, yeah, I've dated 3 guys before you. In his mind, they're going to all be a thug, captain of the football team, rapper, and you gave them everything they wanted, and you're giving him whatever's left over. His bitterness is going to kick in, and he's going to be upset about whatever little past you have. It doesn't matter what it was. Some of you have already experienced this with a guy, but a lot of that is due to their bitterness and the fact that they always feel like they're being slighted, and they always feel like they're playing second fiddle. You're going to deal with that every time you tell him about anything, every time you try to do something for him. It's not going to matter. Number 3 type of guy. Some dudes are really going to get mad about this dude. No other options. You don't want to deal with a guy who has no other options because I know it may sound like a fantasy. I know a lot of women may want to stop dealing with players and stuff like that. And they go, oh, if I get a guy with no other options, he'll treat me like a queen. Well, the problem with that is that he has no other options, so you don't know how he really wants to treat you. You don't know what he really thinks about you because he has no other options. Here's the issue. That's not going to stay that way. Okay? As soon as you start dating him, he now has options. Why? Because he has plenty of women who want to be with him just because you are. Now, I know you've already experienced that, as any woman has. When you get with a dude, all of a sudden people come out of the woodworks who never even thought about that fool. Now they want him because they see you with him. It happens to guys too, but This is a phenomenon. If you deal with a dude that has no options and you think he's treating you like a queen, you think, oh, it's all wonderful, he's so nice, he's so sweet. Well, these dudes ain't loyal either. Soon as they start getting options, soon as they start getting people who want to be with them, who are showing them any attention, those are usually the guys who jump ship and leave you for somebody else, or those are the guys who start treating you like dirt as soon as they get an option to have another woman. Yes, they're the first ones that be on Facebook, Twitter, and everything else talking about if I had a queen, I would treat her like she was the greatest thing in the world. That's all I want is one woman. But if they get a woman, they don't act that way because now they actually have options. Okay? So, number 4 guy you just want to leave alone is the one with no friends or family. Now, look, I'm not talking about somebody whose family died in a horrible fire. I'm not talking about somebody like that who lost people who just doesn't have them anymore. I'm not talking about people like that or people whose family abandoned them for whatever reason, when they were little kids. Clearly, I'm not talking about orphans. But I'm talking about people who have not been able to establish any type of unit or any other people who care about them. Because this usually means that they're not a very good friend. This usually means, I'm not talking about you got to have a whole huge group of people that you got hanging around you all the time. You don't have to have some kind of an entourage. But what I'm talking about is somebody who has at least 1 or 2 close people to them that they care about, that they're willing to do things for, and that are willing to do things for them. If a person doesn't have that, it shows you that they're not very good at establishing relationship bonds. So they're probably not going to be that good at maintaining a relationship bond with you. That means that you're going to be wasting your time trying to build a relationship with somebody who doesn't build relationships. So somebody you want to stay away from. Number 5, and this is a big one, and some dudes take this personally, but it is what it is. You don't want to deal with guys with no confidence. Why? Because dudes with no confidence are always going to feel like your relationship isn't real. They're always going to be wondering why you like them. Why does she like me? Is this real? Is she just using me? You can't constantly try to show somebody that you're not using them. You can't constantly try to prove to somebody that you really like them. That's difficult. It's hard to do. It's impossible to make somebody feel good about themselves when they don't feel good about themselves. It's impossible to give someone else confidence. They call it self-confidence, self-esteem. That means that you have to have it. Nobody else can give it to you. And if you're dealing with somebody with no confidence, no self-esteem, they're not going to be able to respect you, and they're not going to be able to respect your relationship, and they're not going to be able to maintain a serious bond or love with you. They just can't do it because they don't have the confidence. And number 6. This is a big one. This might offend women and men alike, but it is what it is. Number 6 is no moral standard. When you're dealing with a guy with no moral standard for himself or you, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be dealing with somebody who's willing to do anything. If a guy is willing to put up with anything from you, that means he's doing 10 to 15 times worse than you. If he's cool with the fact that you were twerking on some other dude in the club, I promise you he had sex with a girl in that club. Because that's how we are as men. And fellas, keep it real. Put it in the comment box below. Tell the truth. Don't lie. A man's not going to accept the things that you're doing unless he's doing worse or unless he has absolutely no self-confidence whatsoever. Those are the only 2 options. If a man has no moral standard for you, it's either the fact that he does have a moral standard but just doesn't have the confidence to enforce it, or he has no moral standard because he has no standard for himself. He's like, I'm out here smashing 15 girls, so the fact that you, let a guy give you a foot massage in the back of that hotel isn't a big deal to me. He's not pissed off. Why? Because he's doing worse. And when you're dealing with a guy with no confidence, he's just holding a grudge but not doing anything about it until he feels like he has options, going back to what we talked about before. So those are the 6 guys I say you should never date. You put in the comment box below. Let me know if you see some more guys you probably shouldn't date or what you thought about it. Also, make sure you like and subscribe and share this video with somebody else. Oh, yeah, check me out on the askchazzellisproject.com where you can get a consultation, a quick question, or you can check out some of the archive videos I have. Peace.